Welcome to Auto Mundial, the weekly car news and review show. This time we're taking a look at Mercedes' latest SUV, the all-new GLC. With more 4x4s on the market than ever before, is its flashy interior enough to lure buyers away from Audi and BMW?
Plus, we have a pair of great value small pickup trucks, the Ford Maverick and the 2023 Hyundai Santa Cruz.
Plus, the new manual Toyota Supra and a rally-ready concept car from Skoda. That's all coming up. But first, the news.
Volkswagen's new ID Buzz is now on sale, but the price may be higher than many were expecting. The retro-electric MPV has generated a great deal of interest, but buyers looking for a great deal on their next car may want to look elsewhere. Prices in the UK start at just over £57,000, rising to well over £60,000 for higher spec models. For less money, buyers could opt for a BMW i4, which has just as many seats and doesn't look like a van. For many though, the van-like styling will be the biggest selling point. Order books are now open, with the first customer delivery scheduled for late this year.
Incredibly, Mercedes currently has 10 different SUVs in its model lineup, and that isn't including coupe versions. It goes to show just how popular big, thirsty off-road styled cars have become, with Merc's range outnumbering its saloons and coupes put together. And now one of its most popular models, the GLC, has been replaced. And here it is. And while it may look quite similar to the outgoing model, this second-generation GLC is an all-new car. It's built on the same platform as the C-Class, but it is slightly bigger than before. Its new, curvier design is in keeping with Merc's other new offerings, with slimmer lights and plenty of chrome trim, or black trim if you go for the optional night pack. While it sits slightly lower than the old model, it is a bit longer. The result is an extra 50 litres of boot space, bringing the total to an impressive 600 litres with the rear seats in place. As a practical family SUV then, how does it stack up? Well, a key selling point for any new Mercedes is the interior, and the GLC is no exception. The old car's cabin was starting to feel its age, but now it's as modern and stylish as just about any car out there. It looks fantastic, with its amazing curved center console that blends seamlessly into an 11.9-inch portrait infotainment screen. It makes use of the latest MBUX software and a new feature called Newsflash, which can find and read personalized news stories as you drive. Perhaps the most important change is the new selection of powertrains. All versions come with 4-wheel drive and a 9-speed auto box, but crucially, all models are electrified. All petrol and diesel options come with a 48-volt mild hybrid system ranging from 194 brake horsepower in the entry-level diesel-powered GLC 220D up to 254 horsepower in the petrol 300. We expect some more powerful AMG models in the future, but for now, power-hungry buyers can instead go for one of 3 new plug-in hybrid versions. The top-spec GLC 400E combines a 2-litre petrol motor with an electric motor for a combined output of 376 brake horsepower, good for 0 to 62 in 5.6 seconds. There's also a diesel PHEV with an official MPG figure of 565 miles per gallon. That sounds fabulous, but WLTP tests do tend to benefit PHEVs and aren't totally reflective of real-world conditions.
But what of its rivals, namely the BMW X3 and Audi Q5? Well, starting with the X3, it's fresh from a midlife facelift. Like most other BMWs, the kidney grills have grown, but don't worry, they're far from 4 Series sized. The whole front end has been refreshed with a more angular look and some smart new headlights. The rear end has had the same treatment, giving the X3 a modern new look. And it isn't just on the outside where BMW's been busy. Climb inside and you'll find an updated interior too, with some more angular air vents to match the exterior, a new digital instrument panel, upgraded infotainment, and new switchgear, making the X3 feel very current, if not quite as stylish as the GLC. It also gets a great range of engines and a plug-in hybrid with a slightly more realistic MPG figure of 141. Then there's the Q5. It may not be the most exciting car to drive, but it's beautifully finished, and we expect its relatively conservative cabin will age more gracefully than the ultra-modern cockpit of the Mercedes. Unfortunately, however, there isn't a plug-in hybrid option, despite its decent selection of petrol and diesel motors.
The GLC then isn't without its competition, but we expect Mercedes will find plenty of customers to justify its ever-expanding SUV range.
Over in the States, Korean brand Hyundai has a handful of models we don't get on this side of the Atlantic. For the most part, they're either a bit too big or we get a more European alternative. But now, Hyundai has a new model for North America, and we think it'd do really rather well on this side of the pond. This is it, the Santa Cruz, a small pickup truck that looks to be a breath of fresh air in a fairly stale sector of the market. Smaller than the traditional full-size American trucks from Ford and Chevrolet, the Santa Cruz is a more compact rival to the likes of the Honda Ridgeline and Ford Maverick. And when we say compact, we mean compact. It's a full 10 inches shorter than a Nissan Frontier and 17 shorter than a Toyota Tacoma. So it seems then that the Santa Cruz is forming its own mini-truck niche in the market. It's more of an SUV with a truck bed, and as such, it doesn't use the traditional body-on-frame construction. It's a unibody with 4 doors and styling borrowed from other models in Hyundai's lineup. Up front, it becomes clear that Hyundai is targeting more than just commercial customers. The design looks more like that of a car than a truck, with a stylish dashboard, premium-looking steering wheel, and plenty of tech on show. Infotainment comes courtesy of either an 8-inch or optional 10-inch touchscreen. There aren't any physical controls, but it gets wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, along with a wireless phone charger. There are 2 powertrain options for the Santa Cruz, both 2.5-litre 4 cylinders. The first produces 190 horsepower, with the upgraded turbocharged 2.5 putting out 275. Both are hooked up to an 8-speed automatic transmission, with the higher spec model getting a dual clutch. New for 2023 is a range of new paint options, like this eye-catching California sand colour, and a new night trim level, which adds some distinctive black trim details.
We've no doubt that it would be a great alternative to the likes of the VW Amarok and Isuzu D-Max. As with this, another small truck we won't be getting in the UK, the Ford Maverick. Yes, we know we get the Ranger, but the Maverick sits at a price point that could tempt people out of family hatchbacks. In the States, the Maverick starts at less than $21,000, and in Britain, that's super mini money. So what do you get for your money? Well, if we're honest, not a great deal. All trim levels will come as standard with a 2.5 litre 4-cylinder petrol engine hooked up to a hybrid system for about 190 brake horsepower. Entry-level Mavericks, though, are only available with front-wheel drive, so don't expect it to keep up with the Ranger on the trails. The interior isn't exactly plush either, with a dated steering wheel and lots of cheap plastics. There's not a great deal of kit either, but at this price, who really cares? Step up to the XLT and top-of-the-range Lariat trim levels and things get better. Even the high-spec cars are very well priced, with the Lariat starting at around $27,000. Four-wheel drive is optional, but only if you upgrade to the smaller but more powerful 250 horsepower 2-litre. This ditches the hybrid system but provides better performance and improved towing capacity. The $23,000 mid-range XLT seems like the best option to us. It's still basic, but it adds some nice creature comforts like cruise control, electric mirrors and a power-locking tailgate. There are loads of option packs too if you fancy things like dual-zone climate control and electric seats. Happily, the 8-inch touchscreen is standard across the range and comes complete with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto and an onboard Wi-Fi hotspot.
Both of these trucks make us green with envy that we can't have them here in Britain. And next week, we've got another truck that we want even more.
After the break, the Toyota Supra we've all been waiting for, and the Skoda Kamiq as you've never seen it before. Still to come, a Dakar-ready crossover from Skoda. But first,
there have been countless Japanese performance car legends over the years, the NSX, the Skyline, the RX-7, etc. But few of them strike a chord in the hearts of petrolheads like the iconic Toyota Supra. And when Toyota finally revealed its latest one in 2019, it was met with something of a mixed reception. With the previous generation car a full-blown icon, the new car had big tyres to fill. But the JDM aficionados weren't exactly enamoured with the car's Bavarian underpinnings. You see, unlike previous versions, the new Supra was co-engineered with BMW, sharing its platform with the new Z4. Even the engines from BMW, and as a result, both the Supra and the top-spec M40i Z4 get roughly the same power, 335 brake horsepower for the Toyota and 340 for the BMW. The fact that the world's biggest car maker seemingly couldn't be bothered to develop its own sports car left a bitter taste in some enthusiasts' mouths. Thankfully though, with the wonderful GR Yaris and the sold-out GR86, Toyota has regained some of its street cred, and now it wants to take back some more. This is, as you can tell, a Toyota Supra, but look a little closer and you'll spot a red badge on the back in place of the normal polished one. Big deal, you may think, but that red badge signifies something rather special. But it's not until you get inside that you realise what it is. In the footwell, there are 3 pedals rather than 2, and in the centre console sits a proper gear stick rather than a drive selector. This is the manual GR Supra, a car that we have been waiting for 3 years. It won't be for everyone, but for driving purists who enjoy the physical tactility of shifting gears and heel and toe downshifts, the new manual Supra is hugely appealing. Big-engined manual sports cars are few and far between these days, with most buyers now preferring the ease and speed of a paddle-shift automatic transmission. The 2-litre model will remain auto-only, and Toyota estimates that only 35% of 3-litre customers will opt for the extra pedal. But as the other extraordinarily popular GR models have shown, there is still demand for ultimate driver involvement. Naturally, the physical nature of the shifts means its official 0 to 62 time is marginally slower than the autos, 4.6 seconds versus 4.3. But in our eyes, that is an incredibly small price to pay.
This isn't, however, the only Japanese sports car that requires both feet. This is the all-new Nissan Zed, and it's something of a homage to some of Nissan's most famous models. Look at it long enough and you'll notice the 240Z influence in its side profile, and the rear light panel that looks like it's from an old Sylvia. There's no arguing with its looks then, and the good news continues. Under the bonnet sits a twin turbocharged 3-litre V6 producing a meaty 400 brake horsepower. Nissan says the whole car is stiffer, sharper and more agile than the old 370, while the top-spec Z performance model comes with a limited slip diff to really liven things up in the corners. The interior is far from revolutionary, but it comes with everything you need, and there are some wonderfully bright and quirky colour combos to choose from. Just look at that blue leather in this one.
However, there's a problem, a big one. The Zed is for the North American market and won't be coming to the UK. Nissan says that its alliance with Renault means it already has the Alpine A110 in Europe, and the Zed isn't necessary. To that, we say nonsense. The manual Toyota Supra then is an intriguing prospect, but with a starting price of 53.5 grand, we suspect most sports car buyers will go for a Porsche Cayman instead.
When you picture a Dakar rally car, the first thing that comes to mind probably isn't the Skoda Kamiq. The Czech brand's smallest SUV is a pleasant enough car, but it's hard to imagine it blasting over desert sand dunes. Well, that hasn't stopped Skoda from giving it a Dakar makeover. It's called the AFRIQ, and it's the latest creation from Skoda's student concept series. 25 apprentices along with Skoda's in-house motorsports team have painstakingly transformed the humble crossover into a true desert-bashing rally monster. The team of apprentices from the brand's vocational school raided the parts bins to create it. The stripped-out interior is straight from the Fabia rally car, while the all-wheel drive system and 2-litre engine are lifted from the Octavia VRS. To complete the motorsports makeover, the AFRIQ is also fitted with a bespoke exhaust, a full welded roll cage and some big knobbly tyres wrapped around some bright green Oz wheels. It gets some specially developed aero too, and a big set of floodlights. And the mods don't stop there. This may just be a concept car, but the Kamiq is ready for any rally stage you dare to throw at it. During the 2-year project, the students spent 2,000 hours going over every inch of the car, and the proof is in the details. There's a functioning roof scoop, clever lifted suspension and a special off-road GPS. There's even a set of onboard cameras for capturing the action. And one of the most intriguing additions is the water-gen system mounted in the back. This new system draws air from the atmosphere, filters out any dust or impurities and turns it into chilled drinking water, ideal for the Dakar. As yet, there are no official plans to compete with the AFRIQ, but with Skoda's proven track record when it comes to rally cars, we really hope to see it racing, sliding and jumping its way through a special stage soon.
Join us again next week on Auto Mundial as Ford lifts the lid on its wildest truck yet, the F-150 Raptor R.